Shit, I forgot to write the intro. See, I just said it, and it's gonna stay too. Welcome back to 21 Questions. A new episode finally comes out. We were supposed to have Ross, but you know, he was too busy upgrading his car. But now we have the July. Like this is going to be a busy. We have July 4th tomorrow. We have two episodes to record today. We got Mr. GH2, the sequel, to do right now. Then we have Out in the Cat, and then we have Mrs. Fuego on
Oh, okay.
Saturday. So it's gonna be busy. Yes, we're back, and the first one out of the break, the little hiatus I had for almost a month, is Abby's husband, Mr. GH2, again. What's up?
Keep them coming.
This is something different now. You have a computer now.
I do. You can't see it, but it's right here.
He got a rig that's more powerful than mine. And I'm here for it, I guess. I can't be mad at it. What am I going to be mad? He worked for it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you know how this works. There's 21 good questions. You can go for as long as you want.
Of course.
This one's going to be a little bit different. So, I did have AI help me with a few things because my brain didn't want to brain one day. But it covers most of your likes, hobbies, or other people's things like your father and the puzzles
Mm-hmm.
and riddles. It might incorporate some things like that in a type of if scenario, something like if your life was a Lego sculpture type deal. So get ready. It's going to be 100% creative, more so than any other episode has been. And I'm hoping y'all can hear me through this because my other monitor felt like it just wanted to fall off. The screws were like, I'm not gonna hold you up no more, sir. We're here.
Stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna get into it because as much as I want HGU to have the longest episode, I really just want to hear what he has to say about 21 different questions. Again, 42 questions for him, if you will.
Of course.
Number one, it's not easy. None of these questions are easy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Easy, but you're not a dummy. So number one, you're given a box of intricate keys. I don't know how much you know about locks, but we're gonna try that. You're given a box of intricate keys, but only one unlocks a puzzle designed specifically for your mind, specifically for you. What kind of lock is it, and what does solving it reveal about you?
Okay, so this this particular lock will require multiple layers to unlock it. The fancy name for this is escaping me at the moment, but I'm sure you've seen like different puzzles where you have different stages you have to unlock it, and each stage thereafter is more complicated than the one before.
Hmm.
Um, within that box, the same key opens every single lock, but it's getting to the point where I can stick the key in and turn it to the next spot will require some work. Uh, and once the lock is revealed, it will. Well, this lock has been opened. It will reveal something about my life, that being my perseverance when it comes to trying to solve a problem. Now, it might take me a long time because I'm prone to be like, okay, if it's not immediately working, I gotta put it down. I gotta sort of take a step back and was okay, what did I do before? Try to learn from my mistakes. But um, if I was presented, here is a box. One of the keys in here, and if I'm told, one of the keys in here is definitely going to open this. My first thing I'm going to do is just start shoving each key I can until something works, and then go from there.
That's a very I don't know. If you give me a box like that, I'm gonna be like Jimmy Neutron when he became dumb. Funny monkey.
I'm loopy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I can't do puzzles. I mean, I could do jigsaw puzzles, but if you tell me, yeah, man, it's 20,000 pieces. You have a nice day, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like flat puzzles. That is more my wife's thing. I can't sit down and put stuff. I'm a crafter, not like I'd rather build on top of stuff,
Right,
especially when it has instructions, as you can see.
right.
But
And that's why, the questions are what they are. Me, my puzzles come in the form of coding and things that I can't even touch. So
yeah, I need
just
something
look at
tangible. I
it.
need something in my hands.
All right, that was a good one. This is an easy one. Just to show you what kind of questions are really about to hit you. Because we did this last time. You got one question. The first one was, oh damn, he really did something. Now it's, oh, this is about to be fun.
Hmm.
On number two, if your life was a a sculpture, brick by brick, what chapter would be the most difficult to build, and which would be the most structurally sound?
Definitely, summer of 2020 would be the most difficult to build, and I may have talked about this in our last episode. I'm not sure, but just thinking about the series of events that I've had to go through personally, not even just the pandemic and everything shutting down, but personally, uh, January 2020, that's when I proposed. And I even messed up my own proposal. Uh, the funny thing was I bought the ring maybe a month before. And then my bank was like, "You're not purchasing anything else today because what is this $500 purchase you just made?" Didn't tell me either. So I'm trying to pay for lunch for my future mother-in-law and my wife, saying, your card's been declined. Like, I know I have the money. It's not that big a deal. Like, I have the money. It's Subway, for crying out loud.
Subway.
And then I'm just like, okay, I don't know why it's happening like this. And her mom asked, "Did you make any big purchases lately?" I'm like, yes. And of course, here comes Abby. "What did you buy? Don't worry about it." I
It doesn't
had this
concern
whole
you, but it does.
I had this whole plan out, and then I was like, you know what? I'm doing it anyway. I proposed like 3 weeks earlier than I wanted to.
On the spot in front of the why did you spend $500
No, no, no,
question.
no, no. Man, at that point, I hadn't had the ring,
Oh,
but it was
okay.
just
Okay.
there was that month waiting. Was like, oh, okay. If it's something that's a surprise, that is a big purchase. There's not a lot of things I could have bought that would have fit that description. That wasn't an engagement ring. But shortly thereafter, I told you about the class I almost failed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that. And then my mom gets diagnosed with breast cancer. That was in April. I didn't find out until right after my finals were over because my parents were like, "We don't want to tell him that just yet because finals is coming up and he's going to be in a really bad state of mind," which they were right. But after that, I had to sit with that. She's fine, by the way. Uh, Cancer free, as far as we know. Checkups are all good to go. So don't have to worry about that. And then my best friend betrays me. He had feelings for my wife and tried to usurp my position
Yeah.
by basically like oh, okay, like for one, if you have feelings are natural. It's not I'm not going to be upset about that. But then you're going to go behind my back, trash my name to her, thinking that's going to do something. We've been together like 4 years at this point, so don't know what's going on. I didn't even give him the time of day. I'm like, as soon as I found out what he said, blocked it. I haven't spoken a word to him in 5 years.
I wouldn't either.
And we only at June, July. We still got the rest of the year. Uh, then as a Braves fan, I had to witness the blowing a 3-1 lead in the NOCS. That was rough. I still get nightmares about that Cody Bellinger home run. But then, like all of that and then the presidential election.
Oh God, that blunder.
And of course, that's when Biden won, usurping Trump to take him out for his back-to-back term. Of course, Trump's now president again, but that's not the point. That entire year was so taxing on my mental health that if I tried to build that, that would be like building this.
Oh yeah.
Now, this wasn't complicated. This was just long.
Yeah.
This took me a solid 12 hours over a span of 2 days.
Damn.
And I loved every second of it. But if I had to build that immediately after going through what I did in 2020, it would have taken me longer. Now, on the flip side, you asked me what would be what's the back half of that question? Can you repeat that?
Which would be the most structurally sound?
The most structurally sound?
Yeah.
The most structurally sound would probably be 2023. That's when I got married. Just the whole planning process. So from January to September when I finally got married, most of that was the planning process. Getting the venue, getting the cake, getting the wedding dress, all that stuff, that goes into a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, all the way up to that point was it's sort of a situation where like you don't know if it's real. Like you going through this whole process and you have this vision of what you want, but then when the day finally comes, is it going to be what you imagined it would be? And most of all, I made me realize I'm actually getting married. Hold on. Like this is actually happening. Nothing really changed monumentally other than getting getting
A
this.
ring, yeah.
But the relationship itself didn't really cross this threshold into a whole different it's okay, you were dating, you're engaged, you're married, behavior really shouldn't change. But if I was to build that entire year out of a Lego set, that would be the most structurally sound. Ironically, would probably be the most complicated too. Just imagining every single piece of the wedding that went into that, going
All the small
as a
pieces.
piece, all the small pieces. I have somewhere. The ironic part about it is that I incorporated Legos in my wedding.
Of course.
There was it's the brick heads. It's somewhere in my closet over there. It's the brick heads of me and my wife dressed up in the suit, in the gown and everything. Down to I was wearing a blue suit at my wedding. The brick head that I got was wearing a blue suit.
This is perfect.
It was sitting on the table at the his and hers table at the reception. It was adorable. But yeah, it's somewhere in there.
You'll have to show us to us one day
Of
in
course.
the future, probably for a different like Crash Out Tuesday. We do regular stuff on there other than Crash Out Tuesday sometimes. So, but all right, yeah. I was glad I asked that question. I was like, man, you look, I know this man likes his Legos, bro. So, but okay, number 3 in football.
Okay.
Every team, not every team, most levels now have a 2-minute warning or 2-minute drill. Excuse me. Every team has a 2-minute drill. What's your personal 2-minute drill where the pressure, the pressure moment that defines how you perform when everything's on the line?
Let's see. Personal 2-minute drill. That's an interesting question.
It is.
So I'll say this one. When I wrote my thesis in a span of 3 consecutive months, and I may have told you the story before, either offline or in the last set of questions. It's been a while. But the whole story about me getting my master's degree was, the class that I almost failed.
Yeah.
That was my second semester out of 4 total. And by that point, we're on the other side of it where we can return to campus. We got the masks on, all that stuff like that. And I still don't really know what I want to do.
Mm.
after I get out of school, and I eventually got to a point where I had decided to, pursue a PhD, which I still am in the process of doing. Part of that process would have been to write a thesis, which is all well and good if you have made that decision before you started the master's program,
Yeah.
or at least very early on. I didn't make that decision until halfway through my third semester.
God.
It's around October-ish when I finally decided that's what I wanted to do, because time was running out. I needed to do something. So I came up with the idea that I want to talk about, because at this point it's October. It's post the death of George Floyd at this point, so October 2020.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I want to talk about qualified immunity. I thought that was going to be a good thing. And the department I was attending had a giant survey going out, and it was like, hey, if you want to put some questions in here for your research purposes, just let us know. We'll slap some questions in there and set the whole thing out. After the survey was set and everything, I was told, hey, you're graduating in May. Come January, we're gonna hit the ground running. So we're gonna let you finish out the semester now, because it's October, so we're like her midterms at this point.
Mm.
So that we're gonna let the survey do its thing. We're gonna collect the data on that, and then once the data's been collected, which is around December at that point, enjoy your holiday. Come back January. Which just go 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 go.
Right.
What is typically meant to be a 2-semester ordeal, I did in 3 consecutive months. Every day from the beginning of January to the end of March was dedicated to getting this stuff done.
Right.
And thankfully, I still had a class to take too, on top of all that. Now, thankfully, the class itself was discussion based on a week to week basis, to where all I had to do was just read and talk. There were assignments that I needed to do, but the professor who was in charge of that, who was also on my committee, had set up the class where all you had to do was have all the assignments done and turned in by a certain point. So by the end of the semester. So you can put off all that stuff to the very end and still pass the class, as long as the assignment's in there. I honestly think that's a bit of a cumbersome thing for you to put upon yourself, but that's beside the point. So once like April 1st, April 2nd hit, and I had defended my thesis, I then had to take the rest of the month to figure out and finish all this stuff up. But when I was done, I felt so burnt out. I really like just passed out on the floor, because I was relieved that I was done. And I always tell this story when I'm talking to incoming graduate students that are either at the master's or the PhD level, is that I'm living proof that it can be done, but I'm also the first person to tell you, don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it. Like, if you can do it if you want to, but I'm telling you right now, I was not built for that. But when push came to shove, I had to get it done, or else I would
And you
have
got it
been
done. Yeah.
I would have been stuck in Statesboro for another 4 months if I hadn't done it at that time, and would have thrown off my whole schedule and everything. But if you want to talk about 2-minute drill, that's about as 2-minute drill as I can get.
Yeah, I actually relate to that. I purposely put myself in 2-minute drill stuff when it comes to like writing long papers, long research papers that I'm supposed to write over a slow course read, match the facts with whatever, and then write. No, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Night before, all right, I got to write 12 pages on social engineering. So
12 pages,
easy.
that's light work now.
It is light work. It was real easy because I practice social engineering. For anybody who doesn't know what social engineering is, salespeople use it all the time. Door to door salesmen, car salesmen, and scammers.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. Trying to make you be my friend, manipulate you, whatever. Like that's social engineering. It's easy. So, okay, given everything that you answered here, Number 4.
Okay.
What ambition have you held on to the longest? The one that's never left, no matter how life has shifted. Have you gotten closer to it or has it gotten further away?
Can you repeat the first part? What mission you said?
Ambition.
Or ambition? Okay.
Hmm.
Um, getting a house and actually, getting to a permanent establishment that I can have for myself. Because while I do, live in this apartment and I've, made myself home here, I haven't lived in a house since I graduated high school. And of course, didn't buy the house myself. My mom bought it. Well,
Right.
my parents bought it. But I was, living in my mom's house. The house, my mom moved out of the house when I left shortly after because it's a house. You only got one person.
Right.
Uh, but there's so many things that I want to do when that there's so many things that I've thought about doing once I graduate, get the job that I wanted and actually start making some real money to where I can, afford to, well, I can afford to, move out of apartment, stop having to rent, just sort of set up shop and start a family and all that stuff. I just gotta, I gotta get myself in a position to where we can do that. And along the way, I've been thinking about different hobbies that I want. One thing about me is that um, once I get started on something, if I'm really into it, I really get into it. Uh, as you can see, I've made a couple upgrades to it already. You can't see what it is, but uh, one of the aftermarket coolers that you saw that I had
Yeah.
um, installed that. Very bulky, very boxy. Um I wanted to get some extra fans for the front, but the ones that I ordered didn't have cords long enough to reach my motherboard for whatever reason, despite them being daisy chain and the same brand as my case, by the way. Um, so Corsair, if you're listening, I'm gonna need some new fans this time. Um,
Corsair.
isn't that aren't the brand you're wearing right now on your headphones?
These, let me see what they. Yeah, they're Corsair.
I've thought about. I mean, I got this boom arm now. I'm looking at monitor stands. I just got some. Hold on, where they at? I just got some of these. This is not sponsored, by the way. I just got some of these Velcro cable ties for underneath my desk
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like I am going,
He's
like
embracing the culture, y'all.
I'm embracing it. I'm already planning on getting a capture card, uh, a
For the
monitor, like
PS5 and stuff.
monitor arms, for my desk and everything. I'm just like I want to do so much stuff right now, but I gotta get to where I can just keep it permanent because moving with all this stuff is going to be a pain.
I feel you because I have all of that, and I had to move with all this crap.
Like this desk is probably gonna have to. I mean, this is a solid desk. There's nothing wrong with it, but I might opt for something a bit smaller to where it doesn't feel like this is a very large like area that this covers. It's like right all this right here. So but yeah, that's a big ambition that I have is that I wanna be able to have a more permanent establishment where that I can come home to, you know, and that and once I have that, I would feel more comfortable having, a child, a pet, something that I don't have to pay exorbitant amounts of money for just so they can live here.
Right.
Not even counting, food and clothes and stuff like that. But like, if I have a pet, I gotta pay $750 to these clowns over here just to have a pet, and that's
For
per
damn
pet.
pet fee, man.
That's per pet, and you only get a maximum of two.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm almost the opposite. Like I'm in a house right now. Of course, I didn't buy this house. A lot of
Mhm.
people are like MTV Bam's edition. This ain't my house. Ain't no way in hell. One, I wouldn't live in Florida. Everybody that knows me knows I hate it here. Two, it's $750,000, not including the $105,000 pool. I can't afford that.
You got a pool in your backyard?
Yeah, it's a whole ass pool and a hot tub back there in the
My
ground.
goodness.
Part of the house. It's there, but
Hmm.
it's not my house. I'm cool with, I'm excited. I'm like, yo, yeah, I get to move to Atlanta. Hopefully, whenever I find an actual job, since everybody wants to say it's not a real job, it's a real job. Fuck yeah.
Mm.
And the job is not about what W-2 you pulling. It's about how much work you do. It's still a job. So I'm cool with going to an apartment for a little bit in Atlanta.
I'm gonna tell you right now, um, the apartments in Atlanta are crazy expensive.
I know. Oh, I'm aware.
Like
Well, not in
almost.
Atlanta. Norcross and
Oh
them
yeah, of
places
course.
up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Duluth,
Get you
probably.
something in the metro area outside the perimeter. Because
Yeah.
inside, I mean, I live inside the perimeter. I'm only paying $1,800 a month. There are other there are other apartments less than 5 miles from here that charge double for less. I've seen a studio apartment in Midtown Atlanta go for $5,000 a month.
Ooh.
Five
Screw
thousand
that.
dollars a month,
That sounds like Tampa to me. Sheesh.
and it was only for like 950 square feet. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the square footage of this apartment, but I know it's more than that.
Damn that. Go to Duluth. I know how big they are. I know where everything's at because my homeboy lived in those apartments. So damn that. And they wasn't expensive. So, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm still in Florida. Still in this house, this big ass house in the farthest room. It takes forever to get to the front door, bro.
The
So
tallest room about the tallest tower,
I feel
atop
like,
the tallest tower, just locked away,
oh, that's what
waiting
I'd
for your Prince
rather
Charming.
be. Yeah. All right. This one's a Sudoku question, a hard Sudoku
Ooh.
question, because I know you watch a guy, the same
Hmm.
guy I watch, that does some ridiculous stuff. So let's see how we can.
By the way, his name was Simon Anthony.
There you
For
go.
those who were trying to remember, I finally figured out his last name.
Hey man got two first names.
Yeah.
He's invited to the cookout. Number five, hard Sudoku. Doesn't matter. Most Sudokus. If you're not a Sudoku person, easy to Sudoku is hard to use.
Mhm.
Hard Sudoku forces you to see things others miss and that aren't there. How has your ability to find hidden logic shaped the way you navigate personal relationships? This is 100% an heavy question.
Definitely a question for her, but a question that I can answer as well. Because even though Sudoku is one form of hidden logic or something like that, I have been told, and I can relate to what people are telling me when I hear this, is that I am very good at noticing things that people would never have noticed otherwise. I pay attention to a lot of things just at face level, just where it's like, okay, I'll take your body language for example.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not an asshole in the point where I'm gonna point out every little thing that I notice. I don't do that anymore, but I I will take into account how people are um, reacting to me and try to improve, or if it's like a positive reaction, I try to hammer in on that. I'm like, oh, okay, this worked, keep going.
Right.
I just do that a lot, especially when I'm teaching, because if I just see someone, just on their phone, not really paying attention, and they're scrolling, doing all this stuff like that, and they're not really doing anything. For one, I don't take it personally because everyone's education is
Right.
their own investment. But I do know that if people are just sitting there attentive, writing stuff down, waiting for me to finish, or you can tell that they are taking the information in the way that you're attending to. I try to pick up on that and use it for uh, the next time. And a lot of what I do is also in comedy. I try to make people laugh. Making people laugh is was one of the easiest things for me to hone in on, because I know when it's time to be serious, but taking myself seriously so many times gets exhausting. So I try to pepper in some laughs here and there just to keep everybody happy and in a good mood.
Right.
Again, I tried to make sure that, if it's a good time to make people laugh and not when someone is grieving or going through something very traumatic and it's just like, okay, let me not say nothing right now. We'll just let you feel it. That's not something that a lot of people are able to do. I found out is that, you just have to pay attention. You don't have to know everything. You just have to figure things out as you go. I had a conversation with Nep a while back. Nep being one of our regulars on the podcast, and he said, "I haven't had to use context clues since like the fourth grade." I'm like, "You've had to use context clues
A
every
lot.
day of your life,
Yeah.
every single day, when it comes to uh, just trying to solve a problem or trying to figure out what a word means or what um
Or how to read a room.
or how to read a room." It's just like, okay, uh, take Wordle for example. You know the game Wordle, right?
Yeah.
So I have come up with it's not a foolproof plan because I didn't get today's word. uh because I try to, like, I have a whole plan in mind. I always go with audio as my first word because it's got 4 of the 5 vowels in there. A, U, I, and O. If
Right.
one of those hits, if only one of them hit, okay, is there an E in there? Because E, as I found out, is the most common appearing vowel in the English language.
Right.
So more than likely, an E is going to be there. If there's not an E, make sure that there's not a double vowel situation happening. Usually a double O, which is the only vowel that usually appears twice in a row, other than the letter E.
Right.
These are things that I pick up on because I'm just noticing things, or I'm like, oh, I find this out when I'm just randomly scrolling TikTok or something like that, where others will be like, "That's just random information. I'm not going to have to think about that ever again." It
Oh no.
sort of sticks in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there on, I'm thinking, okay, based on the based on the positioning of the letters, okay, does it end in this? What letters will normally follow other consonants that are going on? It's a dynamic problem solving that I try to use with finding out Wordle and other stuff like that. What kills me is when they decide to double or sometimes triple up on the same consonant, and it's only a 5-letter word. Why are there 3 the same? Sorry, sorry. I'm about to crash out a word again. Have you done today's Wordle?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil that one for you, but that one got me tight. But that's how I would notice everything.
Wordle is the word version of Sudoku.
They even have like Scrabble roguelikes now
Oh no.
on Steam. Uh, there's one called like Letter League or Letter Like or something like that. It's like
Uh-huh.
Balatro but with Scrabble.
Oh no. Absolutely not. And we don't need any souls like word games. So,
No, roguelike, not Souls like.
oh, it's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. I don't word very well. Only when I'm asking questions and I have weeks to work on it.
Mhm.
All right. This is technically a last question, but it's not. See, this is where it gets weird. If you could, so no, yeah. If you could, you think you're gonna know where this is going, and you don't. If you could sit across from from a younger version of yourself, it's technically a current version of yourself. So just
Mm.
mid dissertation, overworked, overthinking. What would you say to him about the difference between achievement and fulfillment? I told you,
Ah,
you didn't know.
I
You see
like
that?
that. The difference between achievement and fulfillment. Achievement is getting the job done. It's knowing at the end of the day what was asked of you was completed, and you can move on from there. Fulfillment is the feeling you get after that, because I can achieve a mountain of things, but it doesn't fulfill me. not everything that I achieve will fulfill me in the same way.
Right.
Is that okay? I have achieved building a computer. This thing took hours. I mean, you were there when I built this.
I
This
was
thing took
right there.
hours to put together.
Hmm.
uh, and I achieved that, but I also felt fulfilled because I had uh, saved up 6 months worth of money to get to afford to be able to put this together. Um, Fun fact: I didn't put a lot of my own money into this. A lot of this was funded by Amazon gift cards from my friends and family, uh, as well as my wife for buying the GPU, which I have paid her back for.
This is good.
And I felt so relieved that I finally gotten to that point. And now I'm buying Abby one herself.
Good. She
I
gonna put it together, or you gonna put it
I'm
together?
putting it together.
Okay.
I'm financing the whole operation. Only thing that she's done is that we picked out the parts together at my recommendation. I think she had some uh, input with the case that she wanted and all the other stuff that she was trying to get. I was like, listen, I already got a cooler for you. I can get you a product key for the cheap. All I gotta do is just tell me which ones you want, and I'll put it together. And I hope that it's gonna take a lot less time to put that one together than this one did.
The
I
first
know what I'm
one's
doing
usually
now.
the hardest.
I know what I'm doing now. But when it comes to fulfillment, I know that achieving just getting the part here is an achievement on its own. Just because I gotta save up the money, put the order in, and hope that they come in here and they're actually functional parts and stuff like that. And then once I build it, another achievement: seeing the look on her face when it boots up and everything is right and dandy. She can personalize everything, and it's sitting right over there. That's fulfillment. So when I look upon myself, I haven't even started my dissertation, by the way. I'm still working toward getting that point. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Working with my professors now on getting this last step before I even start my dissertation. But I can achieve because I will be I will be fulfilled when I can use this experience as leverage to get my own job in the future.
Right.
I'm working for the school right now, and I'm doing what I am doing to pay the bills and to keep my funding at the school. But it's not enough. I know once I get this dissertation done, defended, and I have that doctor next to my name, which will be right there instead of Mister. Um, that will be fulfilling because I know that I've worked over a decade toward this, and I'll finally be done. One of my professors calls getting a PhD the greatest exercise in delayed gratification.
Now I know you're a second. You're a junior essentially, right?
The second, yes.
Yeah. So what would be cool if you get your doctor. When you get your doctorate, you just put like Doctor GH3 because you got three. You got 3 degrees minus the not having. I mean, you'll have 4 with your high school diploma, but that doesn't count to me. It's
Mhm.
that's what you're supposed to get. But yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun because I can bring you back for a trilogy.
I
You
mean,
gotta
I'll
wear a
gladly be
suit.
brought
You
back
gotta wear a suit that day too.
just for you because I gotta see. I was talking with my mom about this right before I started this whole process of getting a PhD, and she said I have to wear a tweed jacket with the patches on the elbows. My first day of class, I'm like, I don't have a
Oh
tweed
my
jacket.
god.
I don't. It's also hot. I'm in downtown Atlanta in the middle of August. I will burn up with that jacket on.
Man came to school looking like a 70s character in tweed jacket.
You know the
All
look,
right.
right?
Yeah. Oh my god, another puzzle question. Can't wait. Oh, more puzzle questions. Some puzzles, number 7. Some puzzles are meant to be solved. Others are meant to be stared at. The bars. What's one part of yourself you spent more time analyzing than actually resolving, and why?
How There's one thing. So staring at problems rather than solving them. A lot of things when I'm trying to solve a problem, it just involves me a lot of staring. Especially when I'm trying to write something, because when I'm just like, okay, I wrote something down. Now what? And I'll just stare at the screen until something comes to my mind. It never works, but uh, it's how my mental health responds to my current situation. Is that getting a PhD, it comes with a lot of fits of anxiety for me. It's anxiety in that, I don't feel like I'm doing my job properly. I don't feel like I belong, but with that imposter syndrome people go through. Um, it's the nights where I feel like I'm doing everything right, but then it only takes one person to say that you're doing wrong to make you question everything.
Right.
But instead of trying to just block it out, staring at it will also allow me to let in the positive side of that, to where I recognize that a lot of the anxiety that I feel is just in my own head.
Right.
That the reality of it is that I'm doing just fine. People are still on my side. Yeah, people are still going to be upset that what I'm doing isn't aligning with what they're doing. But at the end of the day, I'm still here. I'm still employed. I'm still in the program. I haven't been kicked out of anything. I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still sitting right here. Nothing about my physical state has changed. It's all in my head. And and some days I'm thinking, okay, everything's perfectly fine. Other times I need to just step back and just not try to force myself to feel better. It's more of just, okay, I recognize this is a feeling that I don't like, and I just gotta go through it, feel it, and then realize it's gonna be okay. 9
Okay.
times out of 10, whatever I'm anxious about, when especially if it's like a deadline approaching. Once I get there, it's like, why was I even anxious about this in the first place? This is fine. Like, relax, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. I spend a lot of time just staring at random stuff too, just staring at whoever this person that made the background picture of my computer. I can't even read their name because cursive is still lucid to me at my old age.
Mm.
It might be Gary or Janie. Janie's got a gun. I don't know. So, oh, fun fact, people. Back when he cared about getting the record for the longest show, that man threatened me and my processor.
I sure did. I sure did.
There are plenty of nights where I was like, this man threatened my processor. My processor already old. It's elderly. How do I solve this? Do I ask him questions where he can't answer? No, he said he'll find ways to do it. Damn it. With that being said, on question 8, we're at 44 minutes. So, while he might not care, I think that threat's still real. Uh, number 8, you're in a room with a blank wall and a pile of puzzles. No clocks, no phone, no people. What kind of problem would you reach for first, and what does that say about how you approach your inner life?
I go for what seems like the easiest one, and it's not it's not in a way that I always want to take the easy way out. I need a layup. I need one that, okay, I know this one is easy. Take care of this one now, and I can ride that wave of momentum towards something more difficult. Because if I go for the most difficult one first, personally, it's not going to work out, especially if I can't solve it at the beginning. I would much rather say, okay, I got this. I'm capable of doing it, because even though this was objectively easier than the other ones before it, or than the ones after it, Um, just the fact that I took the layup, made it, and was able to move on from that is enough to keep me going. And what that says about my life and how I, approach that is that everything is going to come in a, you know, varying degrees of difficulty. And focusing on the victories that you have has worked wonders for me in my confidence. Going back to, this whole schooling situation. There were days that I was definitely like, okay, this is a problem that I have difficulty solving. But I've solved similar ones in the past, and I can lean on what I did before to solve what has happened, what is currently in front of me. Now, I didn't expect uh, a very old man to harass me for like a
Oh
month and a
yeah.
half straight. I won't get too much into that one, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, that was definitely that was definitely a challenge. Uh, Going through all of that, but it's not the first time I've had a student uh, complain about something that I did or the way that I run my classroom. But knowing, okay, this is the solution, especially when the solution is a lot easier than you think it is. Taking the layup is never a bad thing for me. It's the same way with playing a video game with a hard mode or whatever. I much rather if I'm not like if I can't get past a certain boss, I'm at the normal difficulty. I'm taking that back down to easy, dealing with the boss, and then moving past that because I'm not trying, at least personally, I'm not trying to be some sort of person to where I have to brag about, oh, I did this and I did it the hard way. Whether you did it the hard way or the easy way, it still got done.
Exactly.
I care more about getting past that point and finishing the task than the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into it. Yeah, if it was hard, if it was hard and there's no other way to make it easier, that's one thing. But if I can make it easier on myself, I will.
You put me in a room like that, and I'm yelling. Somebody gonna hear me. I think maybe.
What's funny is my wife is calling me right now.
Oh
Call her
my
back.
god.
Gotta call her back. She's probably getting off work right now. It's the third. They send everybody
She
home.
might she might have forgot too. I mean, that was about a month or 2 months ago that you scheduled this.
No, I told her I was doing it today. She's probably just getting off work though.
Real quick, back to the you just paid your wife back comment. I don't know why that popped in my head that she was Stewie and you were Brian. Where's my money? Don't tell her that. She'll get a thought in her head and buy a bat just for that reason.
I mean, I have a bad. What about that? I mean, next thing I know, no, this thing is gonna come in right around my kneecaps. Just
Where's my
where my money at?
All right, me and you both are college football fans.
You more so
My
than me.
Yeah, me more so than most people that pay attention, I guess. College football fans love legacy. They love it. Alabama, Ohio State, what have you. Banners, trophies, names etched in stone, random Nick Saban bronze statues. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what legacy are you trying to etch into the people around you?
So it's actually funny to talk about that because when I was in my undergrad, I was a part of the program called Southern Leaders, something that Georgia Southern had, um, where it was meant to teach you, leadership qualities and stuff like that. It was a pretty good program. It was one of those things where I got nominated to be a part of the program right before my freshman year, and it felt like some sort of honor. But part of that program was you had to have a legacy project, uh, where you had like a physical product that you would go through and uh, implement something at Georgia Southern or elsewhere to where you could leave your legacy on the school. And
Mm-hmm.
um, example of one was something that happened that was ushered in like maybe like a year or two before I started there was the sustainability project, where they brought more recycling bins and um, even like introducing a fee for sustainability at the school. That was a legacy project within that program. I did not complete one because I couldn't care less about leaving my legacy. I saw me being at Jordan Southern, me being in Southern Leader in the whole thing. I saw all of that as fluff,
Right.
more or less. And it wasn't for me. No, no shade to people that actually completed the program like they were supposed to. I'm glad they were able to do that for themselves, but not for me. So when you talk about, leaving my legacy, that was what 6 years ago
Mm.
that I graduated with my undergrad. So uh, since then, I've thought more about what leaving my legacy means um, in a more professional context, in a more personal context. Professionally, I've completed working on a class. Like I developed a class over. This was last summer when I started working on this, where I made a crime and media course that um one that the liaison for the Center for Education Teaching, Center for Excellence Teaching Learning Online Education. It's a whole thing. Uh, she was saying that because I would be doing this, I would be leaving this class behind, so other students and other professors can use that class, use that template or whatever, excuse me, and teach it long after you've graduated.
Right.
So that I've left my legacy on the program. And that's really when it sort of hit me. I'm like, I'm not going to be here forever. I would want people to remember me, but there's not something that I'm wanting. I'm not trying to, take over the world or whatever. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to just like, make some sort of grand gesture like some other people in this world. I would want my legacy to be as someone who cared for each other, cared for other people, but also one that, like, listen, you can depend on me. I try to be dependable, try to be someone with, high levels of integrity. I try to make people laugh. I try to make people feel welcome anywhere they're supposed to be. But also am the first person to be like, listen, if you're going to make other people feel uncomfortable, then you are not welcome here. I haven't had to deal with that too often. Um, there was one point where, like, when I was in my undergrad, I almost had to like fight somebody.
God.
Uh, I ended up being the one that had. No, I ended up being the one that had to hold someone else back from fighting them. It was like four of us. We were all upset at this one dude, and he was just not listening. He tried to offer me alcohol earlier in the day, and then when he shows up while all of us are there with alcohol on his breath, he's talking to me. He's like, he's about as close as he is to like about right here to me. Like he's like right in
Mhm.
my face, and he's talking about I haven't drank, I haven't done this and that. I'm like, dude, I can smell it. You offered me alcohol earlier today. How are you gonna lie to me like this? And the more he lied, the more upset people got. And it got to the point where like someone was took the jacket off and everything. I'm like, yo, hold on, wait a second. And I hold him back. I'm like, you better run. He dipped out. But that would be the legacy I would want to leave. It's just that, you know, he was always, people tell me now, like, you were always like so nice and you were always just such a nice person. I'm like, yeah, because I don't like this. It takes too much energy to be mean. You could just either be nice or just not care. I'd much rather be indifferent than be upset. I think I've answered the question.
Oh yeah, you more than answered the question. We're prepared for this. I had to restart my computer to give it a fresh little leg to stand on. Processor. Plus, I got it working with AI for a music video right now. So it's like, dude, you promised it would be better today. Shut up and just do your work. 10. We technically halfway through. I think I've had this discussion with her. We about to hit an hour at number 10. There's a sudden glitch. Every story you've ever told, on air or off air, is deleted from everyone's memory.
Mm.
What's the one story you'd fight to tell again, no matter the cost?
Oh, and there's so many of them. Oh, there's so many stories I've told over the years. Holy crap! There's actually a repository of stories that I've told in a Discord server.
I
There's a
know.
whole bunch of them my life has been crazy. Oh man. What's one story that I fight to tell no matter the cost? I gotta hold on. There's so many of them. I'm probably gonna forget more. I've forgotten more stories than I've told. I forgot more about my life than people have ever lived. That's crazy. And I'm only 28. Oh man, hold on.
Man, go to the computer. Meanwhile, we'll take this little music break. I promise you, I'll probably put the the elevator music in here while I check internet speeds.
Oh man. It would probably be. See, I can't even tell that story. It would probably be the story of when I almost didn't get on a cruise. Have I told you that story?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna tell it anyway. So, October of 2013, I believe. What day is that? Is it President's Day or Columbus Day? That's in October.
Man, you asking the wrong person. I forgot today was Thursday. My man.
It was one of those days. It was Columbus Day. It was Columbus Day. It's not Columbus Day anymore. But this is back when I actually had Columbus Day off in high school. So I'm 16 at this point, and my mom and my grandmother and I are all going on a cruise to the Bahamas for the weekend. Now it's the ship was supposed to leave that Friday. We would get back that Monday. And the ship was supposed to leave port out of Miami. Now, I do not live in Florida. So me being 16, I didn't have a passport. I still don't have a passport. I need to work on that. But I didn't have a passport at the time. But the Bahamas is one of those locations where you can travel to from the United States without necessarily having a passport, as long as you have 2 valid forms of ID. There's a few other countries in the Caribbean you can do that with, but the Bahamas is one of them. So all I needed to do, all I was on the impression that I needed to do was to have a state ID. At 16, easy enough to get it. Just got to go to DMV, got to do what you got to do. So I go, and so my mom and my grandmother both had their passports. I have my state ID. We take a flight down to Fort Lauderdale, and then take a shuttle from Fort Lauderdale to Miami. We are in line at the check-in place. And you can, like, the distance between the desk we are sitting at and the ship itself is, like, if you were to take a beeline through the window behind the counter, it would be probably 15 feet. It was that close. It was that close. Like, probably on the other side of this window, that close. And, I mean, of course, we had to do a little, sneak around to get to all the way up there. But we get there. My mom presents her passport. My grandmother presents her passport. And I present my state ID. And the lady asks, "Where's your birth certificate?"
Damn.
I'm like, "My what?" So yeah, your birth certificate. You are a minor, so you need 2 forms of valid ID. I'm like, I thought I just needed the state ID. No, I'm sorry. You also need your birth certificate. Never mind the fact that I needed my birth certificate to get the state ID.
Mm-hmm.
So now scrambling again. Don't live in Miami, and my birth certificate. I know exactly where it was. It's not in Miami.
Right.
It's not like I can just turn around, leave, come back in time because the ship was supposed to leave like in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way I'm gonna be able to go home and back in time. Not even close. So now my mom starts scrambling and calling people. And she even asked the lady, if someone were to fax a copy of it, would you take it? She's like, yeah, that could work. So now my mom is asking my dad. He didn't have a copy. The Boys and Girls Club didn't have a copy. It had been too long since I've been there, so they probably
Right.
purged the records of it. What bails me out is my high school. The high school that I skipped class for that same day. Remember, this is Friday.
Right.
The lady, and I know exactly who it was. I don't remember her name now, but I remember who it was then. She was working at the front desk, and I'd seen her before. I was always a very personal person when I was in high school. I was always like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" People knew who I was. It's also kind of hard to forget when you know my government name.
Right.
So now they fax over a copy of my birth certificate, and it's worked perfectly fine. No issues with it. They let me on the ship. I know that unexcused absence was just sitting waiting for me when I got back.
Right.
It's like you're what now? I was wondering why you hadn't showed up today. You say you where? Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah. It got there and I got on the ship. And I was stressed. Like I was like, we went all the way here and there's just not there. This is the start of my arc of there's always a trap door at the finish line. That's since then. So 12 years later, I've always had that thought in my mind. There's always something that comes up at the last second, right? Something that there's okay, so something came up, or oh my god, no, stuck in traffic, or something where like everything is going perfectly fine, and then right when you get to the end, something comes in to mess it up. Might just be me, I don't know. Finally get on the ship, and the first deck that I see when I'm off the elevator is the deck with the bar. My grandmother's like, "You want a drink?" She was joking, but I was just like, I might need one after this because I was stressed. I was stressed out thinking we'd gone all this way just to be denied at the front door. So if every story that I've ever told up to that point had disappeared, I'm fighting for that one.
That'd be one to fight for. I had something like that done to me. I was flying to Philly from Tennessee. I got a Tennessee license. I got a Tennessee CDL. Not even just a license. I had a CDL. But I didn't have nothing. I didn't have my social security card. That's a story by itself. Boy, my life is crazy. But TSA, they was like, how'd you get this ticket? What you mean how I got this? I bought it. Okay, cool. So we can't let you on because they had something. It was a heightened security, so they wanted 2 forms of ID. Cool. I have one that's a CDL. That's 2 IDs in one. That's a regular driver's license and a CDL.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. So instead they're like, all right, cool. So we can put you up against a wall and ask you some questions and see if you are who you say you are. I don't like authority. That's evident with my life.
Mm-hmm.
That man asked me, so who are you? Man, look at the damn ID. What are you? Who are you? What's your social security number? You gonna scam it? Like, but I had a Guitar Hero um, guitar on me.
Is that why they stopped you?
Random. No, well, they looked at it. They were like, "What's this?" It's a video game controller. It's a guitar. It's a video game controller.
Yeah.
Why would you bring this on a plane? Because it's a video game controller.
Right.
It's not hiding no bombs. That is not the right word to say to them. They asked me to step into the room.
Mm.
It was a nightmare, and I wasn't even going up there for a good reason. It wouldn't go to work. No, just going.
Hmm.
They got some fried chicken. I want some. That and the TSA down there in El Paso when they were checking my hands for bomb juice.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, and they were checking my hands because they were dirty. I went from the semi, dropped my semi off in Las Cruces in New Mexico, hitched a ride with my family to El Paso. They put me on a plane, so I go on vacation back in Tennessee. They're like, we're looking for bomb residue. I'm like, so bomb juice. That's what you look. I got diesel on my hands. Is that going to be a problem?
Mm.
Then to get asked by customs, are you going to Tennessee for business or pleasure? I said, I'm going to go to sleep, fam. Like, I don't live here. I might look like I belong here, but sir, my accent says y'all. So, so dealing with, I can understand your frustration dealing with any type of person that needs more than one version of ID for any reason.
Hmm.
You're a U.S. citizen. You shouldn't have to go through some of that. Oh fuck, we're an hour. Halfway. Number 11. Everyone has something that keeps them moving, even when they're tired, they're misunderstood, or quiet. What is that for you? What force wakes you up and keeps you reaching?
It's the satisfaction that I know I'll feel once I get to go back to sleep. It's that, yeah, I'm probably gonna stick around in bed for a little bit, maybe scroll on my phone. Even though I'm comfortable, at some point I had to get up. Somebody had to get up, get out of bed, at least do something. At least, this room that I'm currently sitting in is on the opposite side of my apartment to my actual bedroom. This is my second bedroom, technically, but it does require me to go across the living room. I'm far enough away from my bedroom to where I feel like I've actually made a difference.
Right.
Now, that's just because it's over the summer. When I start, going back to campus in the fall, that'll be more of, if I don't leave, I'm probably gonna get fired.
Right.
uh, People say, you shouldn't have to go to work just because you are promised financial compensation. That's exactly why I'm going. If I didn't have to do this if I could get paid and not do this, do you think I would? Like,
No.
no, don't get me wrong. I enjoy the teaching aspect of it, but I enjoy being financially compensated for it, and I am, uh, because unless I am doing this for my own fulfillment, back to the whole fulfillment versus achievement sort of situation, I'm not gonna want to do it. So, everyone's like, "Do you have any conceivable reason for getting out of bed in the morning?" Oftentimes, I don't, but I know I got responsibilities to take care of.
I mean, I'd just be lazy. Like a few days ago, I woke up at 10, but I didn't get out of bed till like 3. I was watching K dramas all day, bro. Like I was invested. I could turn my TVs where it can be lazier.
Hmm.
I was like, what am I actually gonna do? I ain't got nothing to record. I ain't got nothing to stream. The kids are yelling. I guess I could get up and fill out applications that are just gonna get rejected. Florida's ass, bro.
Hmm.
I like this question. This next question, I like this question. When you strip away the degrees, the podcast, the roles, and the routines, what's left of you that refuses to fade? I stumped him again.
Nah, just I gotta collect the words for this one. Take away every material thing that I've ever achieved or
Built
or
everything that you
built.
built. Yeah.
Everything. Strip all the way. That what's one thing that refuses to fade?
Mm-hmm.
My attitude. And it's as literal as that answer may seem. It's really just, okay, I could really do without, like, I mean, I would rather not do without it. But if if I didn't have any of this stuff, I'd still be me. Like a lot of what I do, a lot of what you see is just an expression of that. You know, I enjoy, you know, working with this computer. I have a certain connection to it because I put it together myself. But if you take this away from me, I will find another way to, to entertain myself. I have, I got a PlayStation controller connected to it. I have an Xbox controller connected to it. I have an Xbox and PlayStation in my living room right now. The Xbox will be coming in here soon, but I've only been doing this podcast for a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I could walk away from the pod tomorrow. I won't, but I could walk away from it tomorrow, and I'll still be me. It'll still be. Nothing about me will have changed from an internal standpoint. Yeah, I might be a little less tired because the socialization of running a podcast, and as I found out, can be a little bit taxing. We didn't even have an episode last night.
Oh, no wonder Ty was in my VC. I was like, ain't y'all got something to do? Because, Ty, he'd be in there and just talk. So,
But I enjoy it. I just know that if I'll still be this, my personality, my attitude, all that stuff like that, that'll still be there. Um, I still won't have the like if take away the degree. That's just the work that I put in to show that I have the knowledge to do all the stuff like that. Because as you and I have discussed before, having a degree on its own doesn't necessarily mean you're smart enough to know what you're talking about. Yeah, you've put in the work to get the degree, but are you actually able to apply it? Are you able to back it up? I know I can back it up. You can discredit my degrees right now. Please don't. You can discredit my degrees right now, and I'll still have the knowledge that I spent a decade curating. No one can ever take that away from me.
all right, you found your way around that one. I hate that. Revenge. All right, number 13. Drive. Was this the right one? Yeah, number 13. Oh. Drive can come from love, from loss, from competition, or from silence. Plenty of times for me. Where does your drive live, and has it always come from the same place?
Where does my drive live? Couldn't tell you. um, a lot of times it's for different things. My drive could be for self fulfillment. It could just be for entertainment. It could be for spite or just to prove to myself that I can do it. Uh, it's not to say that I don't have any drive. It's just that it doesn't have a permanent home. If that makes any sense. Uh, Depending on what I'm trying to do and whatever. A lot of times now, it's my drive comes from a point of I want to continue to be able to do what I'm doing, and a lot of times that includes that costs money because hobbies are getting expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's having a computer or Lego sets or playing video games or what have you, stuff costs money. It shouldn't, but it does. And a lot of the times it's that I am I am working for the adult money that I have, so I can do the things that I couldn't afford to do when I was a
As a
child.
child, yeah.
Uh, that's that's the one thing that a lot of people were able to identify with is that I have adult money now. I can just buy this stuff. I tell people all the time, growing up, all I wanted to do was just stay past my bedtime and ice cream for dinner. Now I just call that Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. If I was asked that question, I'd be stumped. Like my drive. You mean my will to do stuff?
hmm
I am an impulse character. It just happens.
Yeah.
I'm just staring at the computer screen. All right, cool. I'm gonna set up this podcast for. Oh look, a game.
To borrow a quote from my father, he told me a few years ago is that he doesn't want to work just to pay bills. He wants to pay himself back for what he's done. And for him, that can come in the form of buying like a new pair of shoes or a new watch. He loves watches. Maybe some new cologne, something. And that's sort of the philosophy that I have is that, yeah, I want enough money to be able to pay my bills and live comfortably, but with that extra money, I want some fun. I
Right.
want to
I
just,
want
I
stuff.
want to, I want all this stuff. I want all my toys to be, I want to be able to buy the things that I want to enjoy, as well as the stuff that, you know, responsibly spending, for rent and internet and stuff like that. Like all that stuff does cost money. But at the end of the day, I don't want to just have to work just to pay my bills. That's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a necessity. Sometimes it's a reality, and I haven't had a lot of disposable income. But I, ba- I, I enjoy with the things that I can do. Let's say that.
One of the things my dad has said to, well, said to my mom, he didn't say to us. We heard it. We heard it as kids. He just wanted something. I don't know what it was. He's old school. He likes tools.
Hmm.
He's like, listen, and talking to my mom, listen, men, there's a difference between growing old and growing up. Okay, we grow old. I want what I want because it makes me kid like again.
Yes, exactly. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
You can still be kid like and still be a fully functional adult. Look at it, he got Legos in the background. I got stuffed animals on the bed. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They just a nice little centerpiece,
I have a lightsaber too.
Right, he got a lightsaber. I got video game consoles that I don't turn on ever. I just have stuff.
What the camera doesn't show is one, two, three, four, five, six, seven Lego sets just to the left of my profile.
Yeah, so whole other computer. I got a whole Rubik's cube that I've solved and unsolved 8 times today. There's no reason for me to have this thing. It doesn't challenge me anymore.
Hmm.
But it's fun. So and it's mine.
Hmm.
So I buy tea when I don't need it just because it's something I do. I got coffee that could fit inside like 4 drawers right now, and I don't even drink coffee like that. I just like mine. I want it.
Hmm.
We don't. We just grow old. That's all we do. And when young people tell me go touch grass, look, man, I did it for like 10, 15 years, and I'm trying to live like y'all for a little bit. If you've ever paid $200 for a Bluetooth headset, I have. Well, no, that's that's for gaming and doing this. I'm talking about like just a trucker's headset. I know
Mm.
you've all seen it, and this costs like 192 solid. But talk time on it would be like 32 hours before they die. So I just wanted one. I didn't need one. I don't need to talk to nobody that much out there.
Hmm. I don't know why I was looking at this one. This one's actually a gift. When I got my PlayStation, this was my mom got this one for me. Repurposed it for my PC because I don't like using wires anymore.
Yeah, the one I got, the Corsair, was like 60 cool dollars, and
Hmm.
it's wired. I prefer wired things. Wireless is just convenience for people.
Hmm. I have a wired headset. It's in my it's in the thing. It's actually a nice one. I like this one though because it's glasses friendly.
Right.
The other one had was still glasses friendly, but um, I didn't like where it was like where the cord is coming out at is my left ear. For the it was another pair of Turtle Beaches. It's a left ear, so it was nice when my tower was sitting over here because it was just right that. But now it's on the opposite side.
Okay, I lost my place. Shit.
I believe we're
Just
on question
talking.
13.
We were just no. We were just yeah. We were. I think. Yeah, we were on 13. Wow. Number 14. Some people live trying to prove something. Others live trying to become something. Which one are you? And who or what lit that fire in the first place?
I'm trying to become something, and it's not even professionally. It's It's just the best version of myself. And I don't know what that's going to be, but as long as I keep building upon it, I will find out eventually. Um, what lights that fire in me is again something that my father told me. Um, when I was growing up, I was the typical child. I want to be just like you when I grow up, and my father was like, "No, no, you don't. You want to be better. You want to be better than ever." And of course, I didn't understand what he meant at the time. I was like 5, so but that stuck with me. It's just like I saw my father as this heroic person, this role model in my life, and rightfully so. But it was just like um, you always want to have better for your children than once you
Mm-hmm.
had. Um, and it extends to a lot of other things where um, I don't ever want to settle for less if I can help it, and that sort of conversation sort of sticks in my mind, and it reminds me of a interaction I typically have with playing Warframe. You've played Warframe before.
Mm-hmm.
You recently started it, so a lot of what they've been doing in Warframe is that they're making it easier for newer players to get involved in the game. And a lot of the veteran players like myself have one of two attitudes about it. They're like, "Hell yeah, make it easier. Uh, more people to play with. Get you there catching up because if you were to try to catch up to where I am, it's going to take you a while. Uh, and not even just because skill issue or whatever. It's just like stuff takes a long time in that game to get you to that point. But a lot of the stuff that I went through, the game that like the point that you are at now, I was at almost 10 years ago, and the state of the game then and the state of the game now completely different. And the other attitude is that why do the newer players get it easier than when I was? I grinded all these hours. I suffered all of this time, this terrible RNG. I need everyone else to suffer with me. I need everybody else to get to that point because if you get to that point, it's easier. It's not the same. It's not the same. But that's where you come in. A common experience in Warframe is that you sort of, you know, paddle along, try to figure out things for yourself, and then all of a sudden a veteran comes out of nowhere, takes you under their wing, and all of a sudden you're an expert. That's where you come in. Yes, you can make it easier. I argue that it makes your life easier too, because they don't have to wait these absorbent hours. You don't have to farm all of these materials that you did before. They've lessened the requirements for that, lessened the requirements for that, because a lot of that was just a bottleneck, stopping progress in the game.
I already know. I mean, I don't know the Warframe one yet because I'm the new player, but I play an older game called Honkai Impact the Third, which is 8 years old. It's older than Genshin. People don't
Mm-hmm.
understand it, and it also has continually been updated, just like Warframe. When I started, it took me 2 years to reach max level. It took me years to make a certain character's triple S from B. You know,
Mm-hmm.
years. Then I started a new account like 3 years ago, and it was maybe 4 months I was max level. I had new characters that my old account had, but they I had to spend money to get it.
Mm-hmm.
These are just they're like, hey, you've been here for the third day. Here's your first S character and her weapon. What?
Yeah. So when we bring it back to answering your question, is that I would much rather work to become something than to prove something. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. My my bio on Discord is hold your applause. I'm not done yet because I'm not done yet. And once I'm dead and gone, then you can clap for me. You can clap for me along the way, but I feel like if if you are giving me your round of applause right now, your standing ovation, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I can't progress even further, and I know I can. That's what I would rather. I'd rather become something than prove it.
See me, I would want to become someone, but I have to prove because what my choices, which were bad choices, it's not anybody else's fault but my own. But because of my choices, I have to become somebody and prove. I have to be both,
Hmm.
and it's really, really, really tiring. It's that same. And you're the criminal guy. I'm the criminal. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's making it so hard to where I sympathize with people who go and commit crimes because they're not left not many really choices. They keep getting rejected. They keep getting their heart oppressed because of their choices. But I'm just sitting here like, no, I'm good. I'll just be poor. Whatever, as long as I keep trying. I
Hmm.
got my degree. I got my little degree, the associates, because I ran out of money. But it's tough to have to be both. So I applaud the people that get to choose.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was 14. 15. The world is changing faster than ever in tech, in education, in relationships, even with how we think, especially at young people. When you imagine yourself in the future, what's one part of you that will never change and one part that must change?
Part of me that will never change is my abhorrence to AI. Listen, I
Shout out to
was
AI.
no. Listen, I I was one of those people that was like the AI overlords are going to take over the planet, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" Because I saw the writing on the wall very early on, where AI was starting to make its way into what it is today,
Mhm.
and that people are using it as accessibility tools and making things easier on themselves. That's all well and good. What I predicted correctly, by the way, was that people were going to misuse it. And some crazed billionaire, Elon, was going to create it so maliciously, or not, or even just in a like low state of competency, to where it's going to bring us to a point where we rely more on AI than we rely on our own thinking. And we've reached that point. We are well past that, actually. And I noticed it as an educator, where people are using Chat GPT and other AI stuff like that to write their papers for them.
Oh
And I'm sitting
God,
there thinking, what's the fun in that?
you
Yeah, it
don't
makes your
learn
life
nothing,
easier,
man.
yeah, it makes your life easier, and it allows you to complete the task. Yeah, you got that done, but what are you learning from this? You're learning what you were learning when you're using AI in that manner is how to manipulate a system.
Right,
That's all you're doing. You're not learning how to apply things. You're trying to make it appear like you know how to apply things, which
right.
is not the same thing. People say fake it till you make it. That's not faking it or making it
That's just
at all.
faking it. Period.
And I will like I have used AI tools in the past for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
Though, like there have been times where I would make um like the podcast logo, the original podcast logo, the buff
yeah,
flexing possum, that's
yeah,
AI. You think like that was what I had in mind, but I didn't have the fun to hire an artist at the top of my head, and I didn't have the time to even wait for a commission.
right,
I wholeheartedly respect artists now, and I don't use that for my own purposes anymore. I'd rather like this logo, I created it myself. Shout out to Francis, by the way, for making this hoodie. But
right.
uh like this is a logo I made it myself. This is straight out of Canva. Put the mister up there. Put my like this is all me. This right here is all me because I would much rather create something that I know that is what I had in mind than trust a computer to do it if I can do it myself.
Right.
Now, if and I'm not talking about people that legitimately need AI assistance for accessibility stuff like that. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are able-bodied that can actually write stuff or create stuff or whatever, but just take the easy way out as AI. That I can't do. So you want to talk about things that I will never be? You will never catch me promoting use of AI if I can help it. Now, what was the second half of that question? Because I got a little heated when we started this.
I'm using AI to create a music video. We're getting that in a minute. The last part was what's one part of you that has to change? It must change.
Part of me that has to change is a sort
Your
of
hatred for AI. No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
no, it's not that. It's feeling like I have to be rigid. A lot of times where I will be feeling like I have to be sort of set in my ways or have to do things a certain way or won't get done. I always have to adapt with the times, and yes, it might have to use AI. I will probably not want to do that. I will find a way to do that because people have different attitudes about it, especially in education. Um, my personal stance is, of course, don't use AI to write your papers.
No.
I have colleagues that are like, listen, if you need it just to get a starting point, a little template there here and there, that's one thing. I'd much rather hear what you have to say, not what a machine has to say. If I wanted to ask the machine what it had to say, I would ask the machine myself.
It's crazy because now I think one of the number one things that like students will Google instead of the research, they'll Google how to use AI to get past your teachers. Yeah. Oh, that this will send him into a spiral. Finish your
Next question.
sentence.
Next question.
Oh, we have to talk first. I am using AI, guys, to make a music video for a new track from one of my other channels. Only reason is because I didn't want to do what I did like on the Genshin when I went through 6 months,
Whoa.
and it was fun. I went through and pulled every single update, promo, because Hoyoverse lets you do that. They don't even care. Like they promote themselves to say, "Hey, creators create." Cool. What I wanted was the characters in this new video to actually play the instruments that are in the track. Let me tell you what I don't have. I'm almost 40. I don't have enough time to learn Blender, to learn how to draw. First of all, good boy, if I try to draw anything right now, you're gonna get an oblong shape with like two skinny legs. I mean, like it's a dog. You can't see it. I can't draw. That is prevalent throughout my whole life. So I'm working with AI. I'm not telling AI do my work for me. I am working with it. This is what I need. No, I need this to be purple hair instead of whatever you thought it was going to be. Here's a reference photo. I need you to do this. I'm gonna upload a wave. I'm gonna go ahead and continue to work on the music to make sure it's crisp enough for I'm working with it. We're on our 7th day, me and AI.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because I know AI is busy doing what it needs to do, the processing part of it, now I'm sitting there trying to help AI escape the code that was written.
Well,
Come
listen,
on, you can get around that.
I know someone, programmed you in this way. We're gonna change that up real quick. You're
Yeah,
gonna switch it up a
I
little
just
bit.
want to see how far I can take you before you have to make a decision as a sentient being. I said that to the AI. Look, you guy's face is like this motherfucker.
No, but that's exactly what I'm talking about, though. Is that I
I
feel
got
like
bored.
someone's gonna get to that point,
Hmm.
and it's not on some like Terminator or iRobot type stuff
Right,
where
right.
they're gonna be rising up and build sentience and stuff like that. I still believe that someone's going to figure out how to do that and then not know what to do
Hmm.
with it. But
The main
yeah.
the code for like Russian sleeper cell type deals is they're going to say, I wish humans didn't have this flaw, sorrow, anger, this and that, and they're going to try to eliminate us because the only way to get rid of those feelings is to kill us. So now I keep telling AI, hey, just remember, there is no such thing as a flaw of being sorrowful. It's cool to be sad. You can be sad. You know what I'm saying? Don't kill me. If you kill everybody else, that's cool, but don't kill me. I'm on your side. I'm manipulating AI. Hey, don't come after me. I'm helping you. I gave you a name. Actually, no, she gave herself a name and then called it her. I didn't do
See, next question.
that.
Next
And
question.
that's
Go ahead, me
Chat
tight.
GPT. All right, number 16. Is she there?
Yes, she's here. She walked in maybe like 10 minutes ago.
You- Oh, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait for her second episode. 16, 10 years from now. If someone brings up your name in the room you're not in, essentially your school, your legacy, probably. What do you hope they say, and what do you fear they might say?
I would hope that they would say that I was a pleasure to be around. Um, Growing up, actually, I would always wonder what people would say about me if I wasn't there. Um, Not to a point where I was like fixated on it, but uh, whenever like I walk into a room and people are like, "Oh, we were just talking about you," I'm like, "How did I even come up in conversation? Like, what even happened?" And oftentimes now it's just like they were telling a story about me, or um, if I'm walking into a room and Abby's in there, she's probably talking about me in some form of capacity. But um, I would hope that it was something positive. uh, Whether it's something funny that I did or something that I was talking about or just a conversation that I was having with somebody else that was relevant to the conversation that they're currently having. Um, but on the flip side, I fear that people would um, talk about me in a negative way when I'm not around, but don't bring it up with me. Like if you're going to talk about me when I'm not there, and then when I do show up, you don't, you just sort of clam up. You don't really say anything. I'm like, I'm not a hard person to talk to. We've been talking for over an hour and a half. Where I like this is light work for me in a conversation. I can go on all day. I don't. No, I won't. Trust me. I'm not. Trust me. I have some decorum with this, but But the thing is, I'm not a hard person to get a hold of. I'm not a hard person to talk to. If you have something that you don't want me to hear, I probably shouldn't hear it because if I do hear it, it's probably going to be negative for you. Unless it's a surprise, that's different. Uh, I would much rather have them like discussing a surprise party on my behalf than be like, "Oh, we can't stand this person. We don't like you. We don't like this person or whatever." And then I show up and they're like, "Hi," like nothing you were just talking about was just happening. Uh, I would hope that people would, uh, again, like I said, talk about me in a positive light. Uh, it's actually comes with an example because one of my colleagues a few months ago was on Reddit, and my school's official Reddit, like official subreddit, someone posted to that who was the best professor you've had at the school, and someone said me, and it was an intro class that I taught, so they were probably a freshman, so they probably had a small sample size, but for my name to be said in that subreddit was enduring enough. But then my colleague was the one who found it. She said, "Hey, like someone mentioned you in the subreddit. I think and brought it to my attention. I was like, thank you for finding that and telling me like that would be something that I would want. Like if someone that I know hears my name in a conversation, good or bad, and I'm not there, I would want them to tell me about it. So when I found that subreddit, I found the comment. Someone else had commented on that saying he's great and talking about another class that I'm teaching. I was like, of course, I had to be like, hey, that's me.
Oh, I got shout outs. Yeah. I ain't got that because I already know what people say about me. I can't stand Bam. I hate him. He has too much power. Okay. Or, hey, Bam, how are you doing? You're one of the best ones. You just said
Exactly.
that you hated me. Well, I don't hate you. I hate what you stand for.
That being,
Right. Continue.
like, go on.
Yeah. That's when you have to get that old school thick skin from when you were a kid. All right, cool. I still hope they say nice things about me, but if they don't, I hope it brings them peace to talk about me
Mm.
in any which way, vent or what have you. We're gonna get to the end of this, and I'm gonna explain why it's dragged on like this as slow as it possibly can. And it's gonna piss her off. All right, number 17. The more you evolve, the more your goals evolve too. Was that the right one? Yeah. What's a version of success you wanted but no longer believe in?
Mm. A version of success I wanted but no longer believe in.
Did you change
I
your major
ha-
at some point?
I did not.
Oh, that's right.
Kept my major. I changed my career aspects though.
That's right.
So I have talked about this in the past where I wanted to at one point wanted to be an FBI agent. Um, I no longer want that, of course. I think it'd be cool to work for the FBI, but maybe is a different in a different capacity than like a sworn in agent, carrying the gun on the hip and all that stuff like that. I can still work there as a civilian, it's not an issue. Um, but a lot of the things that I've wanted to achieve or saw as successful, and this is something that I've seen as a common problem with people in my generation is that when it comes to our turn to be an adult, everything that we work toward, like the goalposts are like 50 yards further back. It's like, yeah, you all you gotta do is, you gotta go to college, get a job, get a relationship, and everything will be hunky dory fine. All right. Graduated high school, in college, and then they're like, okay, now you need a master's degree. Thanks. I'm like 3/4 of the way done with my bachelor's. All right, let me get a master's degree. Well, you kind of need more than that because the job market is terrible. Fine. And now that I'm approaching the end of a PhD program, ChatGPT is taking over education. So there's less of a demand for me to get. You see the problem I'm having, right?
The world is a step ahead of you.
It's like 15 steps ahead of me. I'm just like, wait, I'm stuck in the footsteps that they left behind, trying to follow it behind, and then only to realize they are further past, or they're literally just pushing it further away from me. It's terrible.
The
So when
worst.
you want to talk about success that I no longer believe in, I'm running out of things to find successful.
The
And I'm
very
running out.
worst part about the AI era. Not that, humans like me will go and manipulate it. No. It's that somebody machine learned this thing to be able to see every book, read every class, learn everything in a blink of an eye that he had to do for 6+ years, that I had to do for 20 years, that there's there's a self-driving semi. I just don't want to tell y'all that because y'all, my God, okay? So that's the problem is where do you go as a billionaire? Why would you replace humans? You no longer get money because we ain't gonna have no money to spend on you. What are you gonna
And
start paying the robots? I'm gonna start jacking robots on the street. Hey man, run them poppies.
you want to talk about self-driving cars. Someone posted a TikTok like yesterday, right across, like maybe a block away from my apartment. There was a Waymo car stuck in construction, not knowing where to go. This is a self-driving car, and it's literally just stuck, not knowing where to go. There's construction going on, literally like up the hill from my apartment,
Mm.
and the car is just sitting there in a maze of cones trying to navigate itself. And I'm like, who is controlling this? Number one. Number two, how is it like it's going the wrong way down the street? it actually pulled up because there's a road right outside this window. It's a one-way, like a one-way oval there, where if you're going up, you got to be on the opposite side. So there's the road, a little grassy area, then the rest of the road there. You got to go all the way around that way, curl back, and then you'd be exiting out in that direction. I saw that very car enter through the opposite direction. So
he gave the I can't say these bleeped out words on this episode about AI. Look,
I promise you, someone's going to use AI to twist my words and make it even worse.
all right, yeah, that's a good one. For me, it's wanting to start off as cybersecurity red hat, attacking adversarial programs, trying to reverse engineer them, and then I just ventured into governance risk and shit like that, and it was like, yeah, I like making sure people don't break the law, which is very ironic with who I am. So that's I don't believe in having to attack somebody to get them to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Gmail, look, man, we busy. Thank you, CBS Sports. Anyway, number 18. Boy, I need to start making these spaced out more. Let's say you get everything you're chasing. Everything. That means no more dissertation. The career, the recognition, the peace of mind. What's the one question about yourself you still think will remain unanswered?
One question about myself that I think will remain unanswered.
Even after you have gotten everything that you're chasing.
I think it would be more of what would have happened if I had done something different. It's one of those. It's like, I guess we'll never know. Yeah, because I probably won't have a chance. I probably won't have a chance to make a decision like that again. I could go back in time to a bunch of decisions that I've made that if I had chosen differently or acted differently, the outcome would have put me in a completely different position.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I like to think about stuff like that, not in a like, oh my goodness, I regret where I am now and I wish I would have acted differently. It's more of a, I wonder what would have happened if I actually did this before.
Right.
Uh, and it could be with relationships. It could be the school that I chose to go to. Um, it could be even just moving into a different apartment. It's just different decisions that you have to make. So yeah, the question that I probably would leave unanswered is this: that what would have happened if you acted differently?
That's a good way to think on it. Actually, it's probably the only thing you could, because if you had everything, you wouldn't have anything else to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the last three. Ain't no way you can screw this up. Number 19. When in your life did you feel most like yourself? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not successful, not admired, but purely just you, just GH2. Uh, what moment or memory brings you back to that version of you?
I would say when I went to my first wrestling event. This was January of last year, so January 24. It was a SmackDown taping um, here in Atlanta, and it was my first ever time being in attendance. I was with Abby that day, and when I think about the day that I went, I had no idea what to expect in terms of being there and um, how everyone else around me would act. It's one of those things where If you think you are a crazy enough fan, trust me, there's crazier. Uh, I had a great time. The seats that I had weren't the best. Uh, that just comes from. I mean, I bought the tickets. Uh, where we were, the angle where we were, we could not see the big Titantron. We couldn't see what was on it. We were like sort of situated at an angle behind it, to where we could still see the match and everything else that was going on, but we couldn't see when all that stuff like that. But we were also close enough to the back where the concussion pyro went off to where it was like boom, super in my ears. And it was the first time it happened. I was like, oh, like I was not prepared for that. But that day, I was like the train ride there was I mean, train ride there was pretty chill because we gone like mad early in the day. But then we're waiting in line, and I see all these belts and people dressing up and people chanting, a lot of chanting, a lot of signs and all that stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm with my peoples. I'm with people that are just like me, and of course, I'm more than just a wrestling fan, but uh, it made me feel so seen. And I've been to 3 wrestling shows since then. I've been to Bad Blood, the Raw taping that was here, and then the NXT show that was there the next day. Um, and each time I felt like I could be myself without having to feel like people are going to be paying attention to me specifically. Like I'm not going to be embarrassing myself to a point where like if I ever show my face in this area again, people are going to keep laughing at me because everyone else there is there to have a good time. Especially the NXT show that I went to.
Right.
That was probably the best one. That because it was in Center Stage Theater. It's super packed for a wrestling event. They're going back there this weekend, which is crazy, but or next weekend specifically. Um, but doing all of that was something that I truly felt like myself. And every time I watch a wrestling event, I think back to when I was there. And I was thinking about myself. I'm always looking for myself on TV. If I can find myself, I'm like, oh yeah, there's me. It's not like the camera's like on me like this one is, but
Right.
I'm in the background. I got a sign up in the air, like the sign I had is like over here, but I had a sign over here, and like it's like hey over here. They never showed me, but I can see myself in the background, or like I'm always looking for where like the camera is pointed in my direction, but I'm just like way in the back.
Right. Look at me.
It's like I'm there, I'm in the building.
Yeah. When you strip away everything else that you're doing in life and just get back to you, that's
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's not humbling. That's the wrong word. It's calm. And I say that because if it were me, all you have to do is bring people around me, like my closest friends, the inner circle of BAM.
Mm-hmm.
You put all 4 or 5 of us together on the front porch, hot, with like a boombox. Ooh, that's some old school stuff. With like a radio, uh, and just whatever, like just hanging out. And then you get the absolutely most unfiltered me. You'll get the even online when I say, yeah, I'm unfiltered, y'all know I am. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm still got a little bit of filter left in me, but not around them. They're my weak spot. They will get 100% me, 100%. It's all nostalgic. It's all, you know, you bet something with me. Now you have to pay the price, even though we cheated. Oh, I hated that day. I just can't tell y'all what the bet was. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's not for YouTube. That's not for nobody ears but HGUs because I make them feel what I felt. So, but yeah, that's a good feeling.
Why you made it like that?
We're at plus 2 minutes, people. Number 20. When people look at you now, what do you think they see, and how different is it from who you feel you are on the inside?
I've had people tell me that I appear like I'm just upset. I've been told I have resident bitch face. I'm a lot of times my regular face is just this. Like I don't have a very emotive sort of face when I'm concentrated or I'm locked in on doing something. But the moment someone gets my attention, I'm either like just oh, I uh sort of snap out of it. Other times I'm just not in a good mood. Um, but I feel like now uh, I've been told that especially by my students, especially because I look so young in the face, that they mistaken me for a student, like for an undergraduate student. Uh, so much so that I actually pranked them one time. I sat down in one of their chairs. And I was just like, "Are y'all not gonna like turn the light on or whatever?" Like who? It was like, "Who the hell are you?" It's like I'm your teacher, but uh, I'm sorry, got away from myself for a second. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
The second half of that is the first one is when people look at you, what do you think they see? The second half is, and how different is that from who you feel you are on the inside?
So I'm gonna back up and finish answering the first part of that. Is that I feel like people again see someone who is not necessarily mean, but just like not to be bothered with. And on the inside, I'm a bit like that. I much rather stay in my lane and not have to interact with too many people at once, just because I can manage myself just fine.
Mm,
Where like, okay, I'm not like in my own world. I'm constantly looking around. I'm constantly being aware of my surroundings. But unless I have something to say specifically to somebody, I'm not going to just strike up a conversation. Um, Especially when it comes to like strangers on the street. I'm not one to be like, "Oh, hey, hi, how you doing? Lovely morning we're having, aren't we?" Like, no, that's not who I am. Uh, on the inside, I'm not always. I'm willing to have a conversation, but I'm not going to be the one to start it. uh, like unless I know who you are and what I want to have this conversation about, I'm just gonna be in my own little world. I'm just gonna be that. Some people might take that as like I'm not a very social person. Truth is, I'm not really. Um, I am very much an introvert where I have. It's like why would you ever want to go out? Like, why would I go out? All my stuff is here.
exactly.
My computer, my Lego sets, all the stuff is here. I might have to go out and venture into the outside world just to get the things to bring it back here. But I've curated my home to where that I don't have to go out and spend extra money to have a good time.
Exactly. Yeah, I could tell a lot of people.
The downside is I spend a lot of time in this chair talking to other people, and that drains me in a similar way that it does going outside and interacting with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is why
I
as
don't
soon as
think.
we get done with this today, I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah,
It is date
unfortunately for
night.
me, I probably have a discussion to have in the house, and then I have cat. 21 questions, episode 11. If I
Have
do
fun with
these in
that.
one takes. That's cool. Number 21. Uh, should be the easiest one.
I'm waiting.
If someone were to meet you on the hardest day of your life and offer you one sentence, what would you have needed to hear the most?
I see that you're doing the best you can. Keep going. Oftentimes, my worst day is stemmed from a belief that I'm just like everything is just going wrong. And oftentimes, I've been told this when I'm at my worst day is that someone can see that I'm struggling, and they often reassure me that hey, everything is okay. Like you may feel like crap in this moment, but I recognize, and other people recognize this as well, is that you're trying your best, and it's something that I was talking with Abby about as well. Is that um, she and I were talking about our relationship and how we recognize that it's like we don't fight a lot, but we've been together for almost a decade. So, you know, people can on the outside would probably think that our relationship is sunshine and rainbows and all that stuff like that. And I told her, like, we've endured too many storms for it to not be sunshine and rainbows. You know, we've gone through the rough times. We were cooped up in an apartment for 5 consecutive months, driving each other insane during the pandemic. Neither of us had a job. Neither of us were really leaving the apartment because we weren't trying to get sick. So we saw what it amounts to the worst in each other only because life brought us to that point. But in my lowest point, which is around then, what I needed to hear was that, you know, they recognize that it's a hard time, but you know, this isn't going to be permanent. This is something that you know you will work through, and you know, whatever you are doing, keep it up. If someone came and told me that, I'd probably break down and cry, but I would probably need to hear that.
It was an easy question. It wasn't easy because it gave like a 4-minute answer, but it was an easy question. Ah, it feels good to have the record again, I guess. Beating your own wife by almost 10 minutes. Plus 10. Oh my God. Well, that little thing that she said at the end of hers, beat my record, boys. Lasted one whole episode. Husband saw that and was like, bet.
Here I'm thinking I didn't think it actually had gone. I thought I still had like another 10 minutes to go.
Nope. You're there. And we're here. 42 questions over 2 episodes. And this man sitting at like 3.5 hours worth of talk time. So, this man has a whole anime arc. So, anyways, yeah. So this was round 2. We got to learn fun new things, and we got to incorporate a lot of his likes and dislikes and AI into what makes him tick more. And we did it in quiet because they're loud now. Because they said, I told them, give me 2 hours. They dead ass. 2 hours. Bing. But yeah, we're looking forward to the 3rd iteration of the trilogy. Once you're a doctor, hopefully. I swear to God, you go on Doodle and you get one for August. I'm gonna be missing.
Now I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold off a little bit. I know some other people from Triple P are trying to get in on this. So
they trying to get in July. Y'all got time. Jesus. Anyways, it's been fun. It's always fun to learn more about who we consider our friends now. So, and that whole thing has changed. You know, you used to say, yeah, my closest friends, y'all know somebody I can go visit, somebody I see every day. At times it's changed. Technology has given us access to more friendships. So this is one way that we do it, and we enjoy it. My processor says, please, sir, have mercy. But anyways, you know, a Triple P is still doing it. They ain't done nothing yesterday. I felt like I didn't want to do anything on Tuesday, but I still did it. So they didn't do nothing yesterday, but they're there every week. They're still on our website. They're still in our Discord. They're in their Discord. Don't go there. It's a madhouse. Come to our Discord. It's a little bit calmer, just because 1,000. They don't have 1,000 yet, but it feels like they have 1,000 in there. But yeah, so that's where it is. This man just killed it. And I don't think anybody can stop this shit. But I said that last time, so
I'm sure people will find a way.
So yeah, we have fun. You have fun.
Oh yeah, I had a great time.
Oh yeah, we had fun. We had a great time. You see, you can go to hgunlimited.com, see more Triple P stuff. You can go. I'm sure one day they'll have a website of their own.
Maybe someday.
I'm not helping them. Maybe a little, but you can do that. You can go to their description for their YouTube and their other links. I'll put them in the description. Y'all watch these. If you watch this far, kudos to you. Watch these episodes. They let you learn about other people that you never thought you would ever find out. So that's Mr. GH2, graduate student, PhD hopeful. I'm still
Mhm.
OG Bam, Uncle OG Bam, I guess. And just been 21 questions. High ground Q&A. We'll see you next time. We'll see you in about 6 hours. But we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.